Hey everybody, here is question 3, and it says the average value of a function f over the interval -1 to 2 is -4. The average value of f over the interval 2 to 7 is 8. What's the average value of f over the interval -1 to 7? Alright, so there's a couple ways you could really attack this problem. I'm going to show you one way, maybe it's a little bit backwards, but maybe you'll kind of understand also how I'm thinking about this and how we can break it up. So I see the intervals -1 to 2 and 2 to 7, and I'm trying to get the answer from -1 to 7. So really, what I'm thinking for this question number 3 is we can say the integral from -1 to 7 of f of x dx is going to equal two different things. We can say the integral from -1 to 2 of f of x dx plus, let's use red, the integral from from 2 until 7 f of x dx, right? So we go from -1 to 2, and then from 2 to 7. So that's kind of how what I want to be able to do. And so how is that related to what we're doing? Well, if we're trying to find the average value on the interval from -1 to 7, then what I want to be able to do here is I'm going to go, average value is going to be 1 over 7 minus -1, the integral from -1 to 7 f of x dx. Okay, so I want to be able to plug in that thing. So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to rewrite this as all of this stuff. Okay, so I want all of that to go in to right there. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to solve for those two things, okay? So let's do that. So if we say, if I want to just look at this green part first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that, the integral from -1 to 2, the average value is -4. So that means if I'm just saying average value, I want to say 2 minus -1, integral from -1 to 2 f of x dx equals, and it says it was -4. Okay, so now what I really have is I have 1 over 3 integral from -1 to 2 f of x dx equals -4. Okay, so if I multiply both sides by 3, I get the integral from -1 to 2 of f of x dx equals, and this is multiply, that should be 12. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with from 2 to 7. So I'm going to say the average is going to be 1 over 7 minus 2, the integral from positive 2 to 7, f of x dx. Okay, and we know that is going to equal 8. Okay, from the problem from 2 to 7 is 8. All right, so then we can say 7 minus 2 is 5, so we get 1 over 5 integral from 2 to 7 f of x dx equals 8, and 5 times 8, if I multiply by 5 on both sides, I get the integral from 2 to 7 f of x dx equals 40. All right, so we're going to take those two numbers, and we're going to plug it back in for this thing right there, right? So I'm going to kind of jump down here and just say what I'm going to get is I get 1 over 7 minus -1 is going to be 1 over 8, and then we get the integral from -1 to 7, and instead of saying -1 to 7, I guess that whole thing is really going to be, well, okay, maybe I'll just rewrite that one, not -1 to 7. We'll do this thing from -1 to 2 f of x dx plus, and we'll go with the red one here, integral from 2 to 7 of f of x dx. And we'll close our parentheses. All right, so we know this first one here, I guess I should have probably written that one in green, is 12. So I end up with, now I can use purple. All right, we'll get 1 out of 8. This first one is 12, plus the second one is 40. And I don't think 12 is right. It should be -12, right? Because I had a -4, -12. That's a -12. Okay, so we end up with 1/8 of -12 plus 40. -12 plus 40 is 28 over 8. Okay, reduce that, and they're both divisible by 4. We'll get 7 over 2. All right, so then we go back and check. 7 over 2 for C is going to be the answer that we want. C, there it is. Okay, so there you go. there's the work. Thank you very much, and good luck.